If a nuclear event happens, you won't get a warning. No message, no second chance. You'll just be standing there exposed. Most people think radiation is something you can see or feel. You can't. It's an invisible and deadly threat, and by the time symptoms appear, it's already too late. But what can you do to increase your chances of survival? Here are a few items that may help you. This is a Rad Triage 50. It's a wallet-sized dosimeter card. Its sole purpose is to show if you received a medically significant dose of radiation after a nuclear incident. And that information is critical. It can help you determine whether you should shelter in place or to quickly find a safer location. The Rad 50 is a passive detector. Unlike a Geiger counter, it won't make noise to tell you there's radiation in the area. You have to check on it. In the center, there's a strip that darkens depending on how large of a dose you've been exposed to. Compare the darkness of the strip to the reference chart on the card. This shows the level of exposure. There's a hole in the card so that you can run a lanyard through it to hang it around your neck. Number 1, to keep a better eye on it. Number 2, to keep your hands free for other things. Before use, the card should not be exposed to direct sunlight for extended periods or stored above 77 degrees Fahrenheit. This will affect the accuracy of the card as well as shorten its life. The manufacturer of the card, JP Laboratories, advertises a service life of 2 years stored at room temperature. There is also a separate fit indicator that tells you when to replace the card. Each card includes an instruction sheet. Keep them together in case you need it. Keeping a dosimeter card on your person may seem overly paranoid, but when you factor in the current state of the world, I would say it's a wise investment. Radioactive threats could not only come from bad actors overseas, but also from domestic nuclear infrastructure. Reactors are vulnerable not only to sabotage or aging equipment, but just plain natural disasters. Take Fukushima, for example. Now, the Rad 50 is a cheap, convenient item that could save your life. However, you may want to consider a few more supplemental items. Before this next item, a quick disclaimer. I am not a doctor or medical professional, and this is not medical advice. Potassium iodide tablets. The function of the pills is to fill your thyroid with stable, non-radioactive iodine to prevent it from absorbing radioactive iodine, thus decreasing the chances of thyroid cancer down the line. The pills only protect your thyroid from radioactive iodine. It won't protect your whole body from radiation fallout or external gamma radiation. They should only be taken when directed by public health or emergency officials. The CDC has guidelines listed online. The next few items you should keep handy, if not on your person, are something to cover your nose and mouth, ideally an N95 mask, but even a scarf or a handkerchief will help. The important thing is to prevent yourself from breathing in contaminated dust. If you inhale radioactive particles, you're gonna have a bad day. The next thing is nitrile gloves. This will help keep contamination off your hands and bare skin. Radioactive particles can enter your body through cuts and other wounds. You're much more prone to injure your hands than anything else. It's a good idea to give them an extra layer of protection. Wet wipes. Wet wipes are a moist towelette. Until you can properly decontaminate, anything that can remove dust from your skin, especially around your face and eyes, is a plus. And finally, eye protection. Keeping dust out of your eyes in any disaster is important, more so in this scenario. Ideally, you should use non-vented safety goggles. If you only have sunglasses, it's better than nothing, but try to combine them with a hat, a hood, or a scarf to prevent dust from going around the edges. Getting indoors and out of the fallout is most important. Avoid contact lenses. In a fallout emergency, dust can get trapped beneath them. Now, none of these items can guarantee your survival, but they will increase the odds in your favor. Your greatest advantage would be to get inside of a large building with thick concrete walls. Then move to the most interior protected area you can get to. Realistically speaking, in a direct nuclear exchange, you have a minimal chance of survival, and only if you're at the very edge of the blast zone. The FEMA guidelines are to shelter in place a minimum of 24, but possibly up to 72 hours, or until authorities give the all clear, if any authorities remain. The mask, gloves, goggles, they'll protect you from fallout, but the card will allow you to detect the unseen danger, which is most important. So at a minimum, keep the card nearby. And remember, the worst time to start prepping for an emergency is after it's happened. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment below anything you would add to your EDC kit. This is Polydactyl Productions, giving sound advice for an unsound world. Thanks for watching.